Well, good morning, and I'm not on a mountain bike time trial. I'm here filming another Adam's Angling Adventures, and this time out we're at the beautiful Aquarium down in France. Now last time out you joined us on my syndicate. This time out we've travelled over the water again, and as you can see we have got beautiful sunshine. Now unfortunately it's a little bit too beautiful at the moment. We're actually on morning number 3 of the trip, and so far we've only got one carp to show for our efforts. The temperatures have been over 40 degrees, but before I tell you any more about that, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, hit that notifications bell so you know when all our films are coming out. I'm going to get myself in the shade and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what's been going on so far. Well, that's better being out of that heat, I can tell you, and being in the shade, because it has been absolutely ridiculously hot today, and to be honest, over the last couple of days. But it hasn't all been doom and gloom. On this occasion, we have got Team Trakker's Alex Bransby with us, a good mate of mine, and he has actually got himself off the mark already. He's had himself a beautiful mirror, and before I tell you a bit more about what's happened, we're going to take a look at that now. Well, how about that for a lovely carp? I think Al's still buzzing down the end there, and if we can have a few more like that this session, I think we'll be really, really lucky. Now, let's take you back to the start of the session, and first of all, the weather. Now, like the same as it is for absolutely everybody, when you book these trips, you never quite know what you're going to get weather-wise, whether you're going to get a load of rain, searing temperatures, and we have got the latter. It has been over 40 degrees the last couple of days, and I think it's set to be that for at least the next 2. But we have got a weather change coming, but we'll talk about that a bit later on. Now, when we first got here, we are lucky enough on this session to only actually have 3 of us fishing. Now, this lake normally has, I think, around 6, maybe 7. I'd have to confirm that with a bailiff, but I can imagine the way it's sort of laid out, it would suit that amount of anglers perfectly. Now, that's got its advantages and disadvantages. Now, obviously, we've got the chance to go absolutely everywhere, which is a massive plus. What we decided to do, which was a bit unusual, was for me and Al to double up in a swim down the end, which I believe was swims 4 and 5, and then Gaz was going to go in peg 3. Now, Gaz didn't fish the first night, so he was just putting his bivvy up in peg 3. And when I did get out in front of 5, I was definitely not going to be staying there. It was thick with weed, and I could only really find one fishable area, which was a clear spot right over to my right hand side, and it was quite long, and the line laid through the weed just wasn't going to suit the week's fishing, so I knew pretty early on I wasn't going to be staying there. But the reason we did that is our hope was that we could cover the majority of the lake from where we were. Obviously we had the ability to go long because we had nobody on the other side, and obviously there was a move on the cards if we needed to. We could leapfrog over the other side and fish back over to this bank. That's not worked out. What we ended up doing was Gaz pushed up one to the left, which is called the lodge swim, which gave him access to power and things for his cameras, which was ideal. That's put him in like a little bay up the end, suits his style of angling quite well. He loves his solid bag fishing, and it's got a really nice tree line, and I think he's going to be pretty happy in there. Myself, I've come up to peg 3, and we've left Al in peg 4. Well, he's got peg 4 and 5, so he's got quite a big bit of water. I did find a lovely area out in front of this swim, in about 10 or 11 foot, which obviously in the daytime for this time of year and with these temperatures probably not so ideal, but I was thinking if they're going to drop down at night, it was a lovely clean area right in amongst a load of weed. Not too dissimilar to the spot I found out at Lake Luna when we were out there filming. So I went to bed last night really confident. Woken up this morning, been watching the water like a hawk since first light, and it's pretty evident that the fish are out the back of me and slightly out the back of Al. I've popped the drone up this morning, beauty of modern technology, whizzed it over the other side. Obviously I'm not disturbing anyone, there's no one over there, and I could see a really large congregation of carp just sitting there on top of some weed. It's a funny old weed in here. It's almost like a soft broccoli looking weed. Your lead would actually go through it, but whether you'd present on it or not, I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to risk that. But just in front of that is a really nice clean area, but a lot shallower, probably about 6 foot I'd say. So I've been out in the boat again this morning, dropped a H block out there after leading about a little bit and tamping the prodding stick about, found a really nice area in front of that weed. So my hope now is to make a bit of a tactical change, pull the beads up a little bit on my helicopters because it is still quite soft out there, but just to drop a couple of rigs just in front of that weed. And my hope is that the carp are going to end up back out there again tomorrow, overnight and into the early hours of the morning, and hopefully they'll drop off that little bank of really shallow stuff just into the slightly deeper water where I'm going to have a couple of rigs waiting for them. But yeah, it's one of those ones, we always like to open up with a carp if we can, but it's been a little bit testy at the moment. But we expected that. You know, it's the summer, this time of year, when it's red hot temperatures like this, it can be really, really hard work, but also really, really enjoyable. And we love the chase, you know, it's all part of the plan and the story, so we'll keep ringing them changes. Like I say, we haven't gone mad with bait. Now that's something that I think a lot of people do when they come to France, especially if they've got access to a boat. They're straight out, find a spot, give it 3 or 4 buckets, and then you haven't really got a plan B. At the moment, I've got a plan B, C and D really. I've not put a lot of bait out, and until I get a bite, I won't be. I want to get a bite, find an area I'm happy with, and then we can start setting our stall out for the session ahead. But we've got plenty of time. It's only Monday. We've got until Friday, I believe. So plenty of chances, and let's hope the new change does me a few bites. But that sort of brings you a little bit up to date. Like I say, Al had his bite yesterday in the day, so fingers crossed that shallow spot of ours will produce. You never know, we might catch up with Al a little bit later on with a bit of luck. But for now, I'm going to get some fresh hook baits tied on, get everything ready to go out, but I'm in no rush to do it. Not in these temperatures, that's for sure. I think we might even go up the shop, get a few supplies, but yeah, we'll catch up a little bit later on. Fingers crossed with a carp, but if not, you can tune in and I'll tell you how I'm losing this battle even further. But yeah, we'll get these fresh hook baits on, try and catch ourselves a carp. Well, good morning. Another uneventful night for me, and to be honest, I didn't expect anything else. We had those searing temperatures yesterday and we've got an even hotter day today. Now, I'm in that position now with my open water spot where I need a change in the conditions to change the carp's behaviour, and that thankfully is coming tomorrow. So I'm not too despondent. I'm going to keep the bait trickling in on that spot, and I'm confident when that weather changes we will get some bites the back end of the week. But for now, I've got to give myself a chance and give myself an opportunity. So I've made the move over to the other side to a swim called Peg 12, where we've been watching fish bask in the weed just short of this margin for the last couple of days. Now, I've had to change the methods completely. I've gone over to naked chods and light leads, and it's perfect for this situation. I've got about 3 foot of soft weed and then about 2 foot of water probably on top of that where the carp are milling around in this sun. And I'm hoping that presentation is going to be absolutely perfect. Now, they're not really feeding, they're just swimming around enjoying the sun, but I'm confident that a couple of naked chods presented well could give us an opportunity. But although I've had nothing, it's not been uneventful. The lads have had another 1 each. Alex is now obviously on 2 and Gaz has got in on the act. It all started last night where a bite come out of the blue for Alex again from that shallow spot, so about 5.5 foot of water, and he had a beautiful upper 20, low 30-ish sort of mirror, but again another beautiful example of the aquarium fish, jet black, beautiful, beautiful mirror, and that gets out to 2. And then early hours of this morning, or should I say just before first light, Gaz's solid bag method that seems to work just about everywhere has done him another bite, and he had one a little bit bigger. It was a special one indeed, at just over 41 pounds. And while I get myself sorted and ready in this swim, you can have a little look back at those 2 captures from yesterday. This is the Ron Bleak payback, isn't it? I'll hold it up for the cameras. I'll say it was mine. Actually, I won't, it's too small.
I didn't think I'll see one of these today. It was so hot today. Temperatures were like 40 degrees. Honestly didn't think it'd happen. Well, it's finally cooled off around tea time. We didn't think we'd get another chance until the weather front comes in on Wednesday, but yeah, sun started going down and this one ripped away. Beautiful mirror.
Off it. Oh man. Oh, I can't believe that. God knows what that is out there. Disaster. Got the bite. Absolutely steamed through the weed. I thought we were away and rolling, and oh, what a bite as well. We got it absolutely bang on where we positioned it. And I've been cut off by something. I don't know what's out there. I had a little lead about yesterday, so I didn't find anything, so I think we've been unlucky there. But where there's one, there's more, so make a couple of little changes here and get it back out. Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes I think there is something wrong with it. But that is it for now over here. We came, we did conquer, we just didn't succeed. Now, we certainly wouldn't have got that bite being over the other side, so being proactive has got us a bite, but we just haven't landed it. Pretty shocked that we didn't get another chance, to be honest, because there has been fish all over me. But you've only got to look at the conditions. We have been fighting the sun, trying to get in the shade for the last half hour or so. It has got really, really hot now. We're coming up to 4 o'clock and it is well over 40 degrees. So rod's in, we're going to get back around the other side, get everything ready for the evening, and fingers crossed that weather change tomorrow brings a few carp. But if it doesn't, we're certainly going to be trying to do something else to catch one. So if we're not back in here again, trying to catch them out this weed, we'll be somewhere else on the lake. So till then, see you later on. Well, as you can see, I've made it back round into the swim, and I can tell you what, it has taken absolutely everything for me to get this sorted this evening. I've tied up 3 fresh rigs and done myself up some bait and been out, dropped the marker float out ready to deploy. But as I say, it has been stifling today. I think it's reached temperatures of about 44 degrees, and just moving 2 feet takes it out of you, and we have been absolutely sweating buckets. But before I drop this bait out here, I thought I'd quickly tell you what I am using, and I know it hasn't done us any good yet, but when those conditions change and the fish start feeding, I'm sure it's something they're going to want to devour. It's a simple fish meal boilie, some hemp, some golden grains, a little bit of pellet and a little bit of powder sprinkled over the top. To top off with that, put a little bit of lake water in, wound the whole thing up to make it a nice gloopy mess, and that is what I've been dropping out on that spot. Now we know it hasn't done anything yet, but I've been steadily putting it in, little and often over the last few days, and hopefully when they do get down there, there's going to be lots of it ready for them to feed on. Rigs wise, nice and simple, the ever faithful Ronnies, 3 bright hook baits, and the helicopter setup I often favour. So I'm going to drop these 3 rigs out there in this searing heat still, and hopefully we can get ourselves a bite tonight. But big weather change coming tomorrow. We've got rain and we've got temperatures 15 degrees less than today. So fingers crossed that makes the difference. So let's get this bucket of bait out, get these rigs out there, and hopefully the next time I see you, I'll be holding up my first Aquarium Carp. Well, at last the weather breaks, and with those changing conditions and that searing heat gone, it was about to bring a change in fortunes. Spirits were certainly raised by this break in the weather, and if Al's fish wasn't enough of a sign that it was the change we needed, he had yet another take a short time after to confirm it. Yes, he's away. Good work, Rex. We needed this, didn't we? Had to do a daytime bite, didn't it? It's good fish, mate. You're back for the Bransby, aren't you now? Starting to become the Rex show.
Been brewing for 3 years.
Brewing for 3 years. Do you know what? I think it's my mate. I think it's my mate. I think it's the one I was on about. Right. What was your PP before, Rex?
It's about 52.
Well, it's now 56.
No way.
Yeah, and 7 ounces.
Awesome, man.
Sweet. Well done, mate. Well, amazing. We've got our first aquarium 50-pounder. Now, on this particular venue, any fish over the magical 50 are to be photographed in the water. This is so these big, delicate creatures get the very best of care. So it's time to jump in, get out those all-important cat shots. Right, quick pole. Bucket or no bucket? Bucket?
Yep, hold on.
well as Al got fresh rigs tied and got his rods back on the spot, the rain continued to pour once more. But with that rain and with the conditions getting better and better all the time, finally something was about to occur in my swim.
Ad's in, mate.
Well, as you know, this has been a long time coming, so the knees are knocking, and I'm not enjoying this like I normally would, believe it or not. I've got quite a lot of trouble out in front of me here, and luckily it's gone round to the right, which I haven't done any investigating on, so I'm not sure if there's anything there, so fingers crossed there's not. But yeah, I've had to work hard for this, and I've just made a slight change and gone to some shallower water, just because all the bites have come from shallower water than what I've got on my main feature, and it's paid off. So I'm going to concentrate now, because it means a lot to get this one in. Right, see? The rain continued to pour throughout the fight, but I didn't care. At last I was hooked into an aquarium carp, and the only thing going through my mind at this stage was please stay on. Just shows you, doesn't it? Persevered for how long? Well, 3 days.
Yeah.
But after a while, that's 4 bites now, and can't ignore it. Now it gets to, now I'm starting to think I should have done it sooner, but you don't know, do you? Wow, there it is, my golden prize for all my patience. I cannot tell you how good it feels to get off the mark. I've been playing bridesmaid the last few days to the boys. Not that that's been a problem, because it's been amazing to see these beautiful aquarium carp, but nobody likes to miss out. We always want to get in on the action, and I think I've found something now that could possibly do me another bite or two before we go home. Well, fingers crossed anyway, but if I don't, at least I've had one and I can say I got involved. What a beautiful common. Let's get a few steels, and then I can get that rod back out and try and catch another one. The bait boat was certainly proving to be a valuable tool on this trip. Aiding us in getting the rod back out quietly and quickly was certainly proving to be an edge. And it wasn't long after I got that rod back out on the money that the alarm was sounding yet another take. Well, as this fish tries to plough through my other lines, like all good things, they come to those who wait, and we got another one. So all that dooming and glooming and struggling over the last few days, it just goes to show you, you only need to work something small out, like we have with the depths that they're happy to feed in, or a weather change like we've had, and all of a sudden your luck's changed, and we're playing fish number 2. What it's all about, just keeping the patience, keeping upbeat, and it ain't been hard to do that because we've had Al's and Gaz's beautiful fish to keep us going, but no one likes to stay uninvolved for too long. So I'm pleased to say I'm in on the action as well now. They know what they're doing, these carp. They know where every weed bed is, every snag, and this one's doing its best to Try and get in this thick weed up to my right. Got him out once, and hopefully we got him moving now. But he's doing his best to get in this woodwork up here. Glad I've got the 13-foot rods, that's for sure. I think we're going to turn in here. Yes, we are. Are you mine? Yes, you are, and you're a proper one. Oh. Oh yeah, that's a proper one. Yeah, that one certainly isn't a small common. That's a big old mirror and a beautiful one as well. Oh, carp gods, thank you very much. The stars have aligned. That's big, it's bigger than we thought. Look at that. I think it might just be the spawning that lets it down, but that's very close to the 5.0, isn't it? But we're not doing the pictures on the bank. 250s in a day. What a buzz. Well, what a day today has turned into. We had the buzz this morning at Rex's PB busting 56-pound mirror, and to be honest, that was session made. Our goal for the trip was to try and catch one of the Aquarium 50-pounders, and obviously this morning we did it, but I didn't want to miss out, did I? So this afternoon I've managed to get in on the act, and if I'm honest, I was a mile away from a bite when I woke up this morning. But a couple of little rig changes, a little spot change, and I too have got myself one of the Aquarium monsters. And if it lets me hold it up, you will see one of the longest, most beautiful Aquarium carp at just over 52 pounds, I believe. It's an absolute giant. Just check that out. What a fish, what a buzz. Whoa, easy girl, easy. And I tell you what, that has made my session. Look at the length of it, it is absolutely ginormous. Can't quite believe the session's unfolded like it has, but just goes to show you, be patient, stay positive, because the fish are out there, you just got to catch them. What a buzz, and we've still got 2 nights. We could even catch ourselves another one. You never know, Gaz might even catch himself a 50, and we've all done it. What a creature. Mwah. Well, I've got to show you the other side. Just check that out. I still can't believe the length of this carp. Absolutely phenomenal. I've now got to try and hold it up for a few pictures. Going to be hard work, I think, but who cares? I'll have a good fun trying. Well, what a day it's turning into. Talk about a change in weather and a change of fortune. As you can see, it's biblical conditions now for catching carp. Low pressure, lovely overcast skies, intermittent rain, just all the recipes for big carp fishing. And we're in again. Al was confident there was another fish before we retired for the evening, and it looks like he's going to be right, if we can get it in. Little mag mirror. Oh, well, how about that for a beautiful hard fighting male. Now, I don't think we need to get the scales out to see this one's a bit smaller than that last one, but he's equally as beautiful, a lovely fish. And I tell you what, I hope the GoPro was rolling because the take was unbelievable. I think the rod would have gone if I'd have been in the bivvy. Lovely, lovely way to head into the evening. 3 fish today for me, and Al's giant. Let's hope there's a few more to come before we go home. Well, the red letter day continues into the night, and I'll tell you what, I'm gutted to catch this beautiful creature at night. We'll do our very best to make it look good, and hopefully the flash shots come out well, because this is one of the coolest, one of the most mega carp I've ever caught. It wouldn't look out of place in the UK. In fact, it wouldn't look out of place in the car park lake on the Yankee complex. Unbelievable character. Just wait till you see this fish. Oh, hopefully it behaves. Just check that out. What a phenomenal creature. Just over 41 pounds. And I bet this fish could tell a few tales. Little withered fins, lovely small tail and a big wrist. Put up a hell of a fight. And I tell you what, it's turning into one hell of a session here at the aquarium. Oh God. Oh, I've got to show you the other side, because is that not just an incredible looking carp? I hope it comes out as well as what I can see, because it's just blown me away, this carp. It is a beautiful creature. And when we get a little bit more time tomorrow, we'll run through the rigs that myself and Rex have been using on this trip, because they've certainly done the do. We've fished effectively, made a few tweaks, and by God, are we getting the rewards now. The aquarium is someplace. Well, I got the very best alarm clock, and that was one of my rods absolutely ripping, and I was soon doing battle with yet another aquarium carp. But it proved pretty obvious early on that I was going to have to land this one from the boat. It weeded me up badly in the middle of the lake, so I was soon out doing battle with another aquarium giant. Well, the aquarium just keeps on giving. How about that for a monster mirror? An absolutely epic boat battle that I'm hoping we've caught a little bit of on the drone. Run me the absolute riot. And to be honest, the action just continued after that big mirror last night. I had another 2 commons in the night that I just slipped back because I didn't want to get Gaz up again. He'd worked hard yesterday. And then at first light this morning, I've had 2 amazing mirrors. The first one you've probably just seen, and this absolute monster. This place is being so kind to us, and it really has come good back end of the week. Now I'm going to get a couple of catch shots of this, and then myself and Alex will show you the all important rigs and bait we've been using to catch these aquarium monsters. Oh, thank you very much. Can tell you mates, I'm happy to have one more before I go home. I need my bed.
Wow, what an incredible 24 hours it's been down at the Aquarium Carp Fishery in France. We've faced ridiculous temperatures of 40 degrees plus. I've never been on the bank when it's been that sort of heat. It has been unbearable at times. We knew there was a big weather front coming in yesterday, and with it brought the carp. The change in temperature dramatically decreased down to 40, 41 degrees, down to about 25 degrees, and with it the cloud came, a bit of rain, and that really turned the fish on. And I was very fortunate enough to land a PB mirror of 56 pounds 7 ounce in that period. It has been testing, to say the least. We've had to make quite a lot of tweaks and changes to get the carp on the bank. But I thought I'd sit back after what's been a manic 24 hours. This is the first opportunity I've had to run through the techniques and the sort of changes and tweaks I've made to the rig to make these captures come. Now, it's been very testing conditions, not just on the bank with the searing heat, but actually out there on the lake bed. After going out on the boat and having a poke around on the lake bed, we discovered that there was an awful lot of weed out there, low-lying weed. The kind of weed I've not really experienced. It's not Canadian, it's not silkweed, it's almost like astroturf, if you like. It sits about 6-8 inches off the bottom. And when you actually cast out, your lead will go through it. You won't get any sensation from that. You just get a donk. So all intents and purposes, you think you're casting out and hitting on firm ground, in some cases really solid ground, and it'll be like, yeah, that'll do, that's fine. But it's not until you actually get out there and look at the lake bed with the aid of the boat, luckily we've had that, we can actually determine what we're fishing over and the changes we've had to make to combat this. So this rig is extremely similar to what I'd used back home, with a few extra tweaks made to suit the conditions we've been faced with. So I'll briefly run through how I tie this up. I'd simply take a length of about 12 inches of coated hook link material. I then tie on a Ronnie swivel using a figure of 8 loop knot at one end. Slide down a small anti-tangle sleeve. Then after that I shall tie on simply an overhand knot that will affix to the quick change on my lead clip arrangement. So the hook section here is, on this trip I've been using the size 4 BP clinger hook from Signet. Slipped onto the Ronnie swivel there. Over the top goes the kicker sleeve, which goes over the quick change section. Then I'll slide on a micro rig swivel, and then it will be a stopper bead over the top, and then it's just thread on a pop-up using floss and then blobbed off with a lighter. And then weighed down with a bit of putty, again over the, I use the figure of 8 loop knot because it gives a bit more for the putty to bind to weigh down the pop-up, so it just sinks really gently there. And then I actually use a blob of putty in the middle there just to weigh it all down so it sits pretty on the bottom, nice and flat. Right, so complete the rig, simply hook a Ronnie swivel through the eye of the hook, push down the hook rigger sleeve so it covers that nicely and secures that in place. Then on the other end, simply attached the overhand loop over the quick change swivel on your lead grip arrangement and slide down the anti-tangle sleeve, and then you're all ready to go. So the tweaks and changes I've made to this rig, which is sort of my go-to back home, I'd usually fish it on a shorter, stiffer boom. And because of the conditions we've faced out there on the lake bed, it's very soft. You've got 8 inches of sort of matted weed. So what I want to do is I want to lengthen that hook link, and I want to use a critically balanced hook bait. I'll use PVA nuggets, so it holds the rig up for a few seconds or even a minute or two. And then as those dissolve, it flutters down and sits beautifully on the lake bed on top of that weed. The other change I've made, the hook would usually be a standard size 4 Klinger BP, and I've upped that, still on the size 4, but I've gone for the XS pound, which is a stronger wire gauge there, just for the pure fact that we're fishing for enormous fish in testing weedy conditions. So those are the tweaks I've made. It certainly works so far, and hopefully it can carry on working.
Al's rigs were certainly proving effective once more, with another take coming just after he'd finished off doing his rig demonstration. Al had certainly got something right on this trip, and he was yet again playing another beautiful aquarium carp.
Wow, what a scrap. Oh my God. So glad that's in the bag now. Wow, look at this incredible carp. Taken on the very rig I just showed you guys how to tie. The proof very much is in the pudding. Wouldn't look out of place in the Cotswold Water Park, this one, would it? Fantastic creature. Right, I want to get it back, and I think you're going to go over to Adam, where he's going to show you his tactics that have helped him land some incredible carp these last couple of days. Get you out that weed. Come to daddy. Heart in the mouth time this. Adrenaline overload. So there is a lot of weed out there, and in some places it literally comes up to about a foot below the surface. Hopefully I can get it over them 2 other rods without too much drama, because he's very close right now. Now I can feel the weight of it, and it feels big. Never gets old. This feeling, this buzz. Oh, just come off the dorsal then. Makes your heart sink that. That pluck of death. Come on now. Let's see ya. Arse the beast. Proper wild. Wide. Like a football. Massive head. He's a funny old one.
What a boy.
All right, son.
Ew. How big then?
I don't know. He's a fatty. He's
Let's
a
have a
football
look.
mate.
Cool,
I
yeah.
don't think it's the 4.0. He's got a big head on him and a big fat gut.
Mate, what a session. This is turning out to be a little bit silly now, isn't it?
Maturing like cheese, isn't it? Lovely.
Yeah. Now we've got to go home tomorrow. Now I don't want to go anywhere.
I don't know. Sweet talk Gazin's staying.
Do another night. It's £54, I told you. Didn't I? It's £54. Celebrating. Rex has had another monster. £54. So, I'm going to celebrate with a can of Coke Zero. You know, some people like to get on the beers, don't they? We're not. We're big carp fishing athletes here, so we're on the Coke Zeros. But we have just polished off a Lion Bar, so that sort of counteracts that. But yeah, we've got through a few of these this week. It's been plenty to celebrate. Well, what a fantastic day that's been. And I know Alex has just run you through the rigs that he's been using, so I thought I'd take the time to just show you the rigs that I've been using. Now, to all intents and purposes, we've been fishing very, very similar. Both been using the Ronnies and we've both been using soft booms. To start with though, I did have a stiffer hook link on, and that's because I was on the leg clips. I was fishing on cleaner ground in that first swim, so there was no need to have anything soft or supple to lay over anything. It was a nice hard bottom, and I was using leg clips and a stiff boom. Now when I moved into my second swim, that was a different situation. I was fishing over weed, so that's where the helicopter comes into play for me, and that's exactly what I changed over to. Now, while I was out there with the prodding stick having a good look around, I found and sort of realised that the weed was about 6 to 8 inches off the bottom, and that was pretty even across the spot I wanted to fish to. So all I've done on the lead core is push the bead right up to allow for that weed. So the lead's going to go straight through the weed, the hook link will rise up with the foam around the hook bait, and then as that dissolves it'll just gently lay on top of the weed. And it's obviously worked because we've had plenty of fish. Now the soft boom I've been using has been the 15-pound semi-stiff, and the stiff one I started with was the 35-pound stiff. And hooks wise, I've been using a mixture of the Klinger BP XS and the Curve Shanked XS. Both hook patterns I've got extreme confidence in. We've had no dramas with hook holes, they've been absolutely nailed. And if you haven't tried those hooks, I thoroughly recommend them because they are really strong and really, really sharp. So that's the rigs I've been using, nice and simple, and I can actually see out the corner of my eye that there's a tight line going out into the pond, so I think Alex might be in again. This place really is unbelievable. Let's go and see what he's got. Well, this is it. This could be the last time the old boat goes out. And to be honest, this has been a godsend this week having the bait boat, especially because of the heat. But more importantly, it's just been nice the way it's lowered the rig down gently on top of that weed. And I've been able to just put enough bait in there just to get a bite. And I haven't had to go out in the big boat and disturb the area. It's been ideal. It's not something I use a great deal, bait boat, but certainly got their places, and this week it's been a good help for us in the situation we've been faced with. But yeah, what a phenomenal week. I mean, could we ask for one more? It'd be lovely to think we could end the film with a fish, but unbelievable angling. You know, it's an incredible place, the aquarium. The stock are just unbelievable. You know, earlier on in the year we went to, or end of last year, we went to Lac Luna. You know, very similar sort of strain carp, beautiful, almost English-like, and it's yeah, wonderful, wonderful place. We've really had some tremendous fish, and obviously Alex is big in this afternoon. It's just topped off what's been an unbelievable week. So let's hope one of these 3 rods does me a fish and I can sign off in style. But to be honest, I need to get this rod out, have a tidy up, and get some sleep because I'm still missing a night's kip, which catches up on you, I can tell you. And I don't want to be feeling that on the way home tomorrow. So unless I'm woken up with a carp, hopefully I'll get a good night's sleep, but I prefer to get woken up with one more monster, that's for sure. Unbelievably, it's a third 50-pounder for Alex, meaning Al once again has to take to the water to do his cat shots. However, there's always an element of danger when handling large, powerful carp in the water, and Al was just about to do his best impression, showing just how difficult that can be.
Wow, check this out, absolutely unbelievable. Yet another massive unit from the Aquarium Carp Fishery in France. I'm blown away, simply blown away. I did not expect anything like this. Starting to lose count of fish now, and the real big girls are starting to play ball. Incredible, words can't explain just how immense this session has been. And I'll be back, I reckon, John.
Yeah. Any shots? No?
Well, one couple at the beginning.
I'll tell you what, I've been looking forward to sitting down having a brew all day.
Do you know me, mate? Parched.
But I still can't believe that's just happened, that fish.
I know, 50 pounder, not a single picture. Unbelievable.
Well, you know what they say, if you ain't got any images, yeah, technically didn't happen, did it?
Well, we get it on video.
Yeah, but we don't care for videos on the gram. You've got to have the images for the gram or it didn't happen, mate. You're not about that gram life there now?
Yeah, I'm on there now. Just getting going, aren't I?
How many followers you got?
About 2,000.
2,000. It's not a lot, is it? I've got more than that on TikTok.
TikTok? What the hell's TikTok?
That's what all the kids are on these days, mate.
Kids? Mate, you're 40 years old now.
All right, mate. Christ's sake. Don't tell everyone. Still trying to hang in there. I only look about 25, don't I?
In your dreams.
The trip that keeps on giving has given us the perfect ending. I've only just landed a beautiful scaly mirror that I thought we were going to wrap the film up with. And just as I've run Gaz and said I had it ready to do the video and photography, last rod, or the furthest rod right, sorry, still got one more in position, has absolutely ripped off. And to be honest, I'm not surprised, it's given us a couple more right at the end. It's been amazing the back end of the week. I really don't want to go home now. There's fish out there showing on the spot. But what a lovely way to end. Well, it's had its ups and downs, but has certainly redeemed itself, and it's been nothing but ups the back end of the week. And if we can get this fish in, to have two on the final morning will be more than we could ever have wished for. And hopefully we can show you another couple of these stunning aquarium carp before we make our way to the tunnel. Well, if you could pick a way to wrap a film up, would that not be it? That is arguably one of the most beautiful carp I've ever caught. Its scales are almost 3D. A phenomenal creature what's just topped off what's been just an amazing week for me and Al and Gaz. You know, we've all had 40 pounders, there's been 50 pounders, there's been big 30s, low 20s, we have had everything. And one thing's for sure, every one of them has been absolutely belting, and we're finishing it off in fine style with this mirror. Now don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notifications bell to watch more videos like these, and let us know in the comments where you'd like us to go or any suggestions you've got, because we're always up for the challenge. And one thing's for sure, without you guys we wouldn't be out here making these films. We've had an amazing week. A big thanks to Ben at the aquarium for having us over, and Marty the bailiff for keeping us fed and watered all week. This really is a phenomenal place. If you're looking for somewhere to go with your mates, check out the aquarium.